my channel. I'm doing another episode of my Friday Sews, which is where I do a weekly catch up for you guys of what I've been up to, sewing and non-sewing related. So I didn't do one last week. I think it's because I had literally no content for you guys. Sometimes life is a bit like that. But this week I have a couple of things I can chat with you about. First one was last weekend I had a ticket for the Sewing Weekender. For any of you who haven't heard of this, it is a yearly meetup which prior to last year they ran it for a few years in, I believe, Cambridge area. And it was an actual meetup for about 100 people to sew for the weekend, and it would have guest speakers and talks, and I really always wanted to go, but it's not near to me and I wasn't able to. But due to our current situation in the world, they went online last year, and this year they did again, and so I decided to take part. Now, this was always a bit risky because I am home alone with the 4 children for pretty much the whole of the year. So whether I would get to actually do anything that weekend was always a bit of an unknown. As it turned out, I did have a lot of other things to do that weekend because I had a garden that needed mowing and the sun was out. So it was perfect opportunity, and a wall that needed painting outside. So I didn't join in a huge amount with the actual sewing aspect or with the Zoom rooms that they had set up. However, I really enjoyed dipping into a couple of the Zooms later on the Saturday and the Sunday. I did this personally with my video and my microphone off because I had 4 noisy children in and out of the room all the time. And so I kind of lurked in the Zoom rooms, but it was lovely to hear people chatting and also giving everybody advice and showing off their projects, which was really, really fun. I did manage to cut out on the Sunday afternoon the item that I sewed up this week, which I will tell you about. And I did watch quite a few of the videos that they'd arranged, and 1 or 2 I'm really interested in. One, I can't remember the details of the lovely lady who did the video, but I will put her name down in the description for you below. She did a wonderful tutorial on how you can make a half circle skirt, and that's something I've been interested in doing. So I'm definitely gonna be trying that. There was also a very interesting tutorial on period pads, which I am really considering making for my daughter, and I want to go more down the natural route with the sanitary towels so that they can be washed and reused rather than the horrendous waste that goes on with the ones that you use once and then dispose of. So that was a really interesting one. I think that was by, I want to say Selkie Patterns, but again, I'll list the details below of who that was. And they do their own kits if you are interested as well. One of the other ones I watched was the Tilly and the Buttons video. I have to say, I was a bit naughty. I skipped through most of it because it was how to make a drawstring bag and an eye mask, which I've already done previously. But they did mention they were going to give us a sneak peek of the new upcoming pattern from Tilly at the end. So I kind of skipped straight through. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to this one being released. It's another winner for me, and I'm hoping that I will be able to make it up. It's very much a summer project. There was also some podcasts which were also really interesting to listen to. And of course, there were discount codes galore. I think I counted 17 altogether. So yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. I do wish that I had a bit more chance to interact with the other sewers and get some sewing done. But you know, it is what it is. And I did start this vest top on the Sunday and finish it early this week. So I will insert some photos of the finished product. It is a Kwik sew pattern and it is 3882. And as you can see, it is basically a pajama pattern, but I was interested in doing the little vest top as a day-to-day vest top, so not for wearing at night time specifically, but wearing for any time. This fabulous fabric, which I think you can see, I hope you can, is got sunglasses all over it, was a remnant piece that I picked up a while ago. So originally I thought I might do a t-shirt, but actually I thought it was perfect for this vest. As I said, it was this Kwik 3882, which I am hoping to do the pyjamas and the shorty pyjamas at some point as well. Couple of things I would say. If you follow me on Instagram, I think I already mentioned that I made the large going by the sizes. So excuse me if I look down. The large said the bust was a 40 to 41.5, waist 31 to 33, and hip 41.5 to 43.5. Now I am actually just outside of those measurements, but the extra large was then too big. And I thought with this being a knit, I would be all right with the large because obviously it has some stretch. I didn't see the finished garment measurement sizes for this, so that's why I went with the large, because the measurements, as I say, are slightly below mine. I'm actually a 42-34, and then my hip was correct because I'm 42. But I had a lot of problems with the size. So inside is a real dog's dinner, honestly. I had to take up the shoulder seams. So when I tried it on, they meant that my top was hanging down, like barely covering my chest. So I hoiked them up, and although I'd finished and already turned under, so as I say, it's not very neat on the inside, I did another seam for the shoulders, a good inch more taken off from what it was, so it gave me hopefully a nice neckline in this scoop. I also did the same. I took in the sides. So one thing it said in the pattern, which I will do another time because I'm guessing it does make all the difference. So in the pattern, one of the things it asks you to do, and hopefully you'll be able to see this in 1 and 2, is to put some basting stitches for easing between notches on the sides here, and then obviously gathering it up to ease them in. Now I thought, in my wisdom, that this being a knit top, I wouldn't worry about that because, you know, it would stretch and fit. There's obviously a reason why I did this, because when I did stitch up my sides, they're far too gapey, and I ended up, like I say, taking a sort of like a triangular wedge out of these so that it would pull them in, and it still doesn't fit wonderfully, but it will do for me. So I think for the next one I do, I will size down to the medium, because like I say, it was far too big here and it was too big at the sides. And I will also follow those 2 steps to see if that then brings them in at the sides. But it was a really straightforward make, because it's literally obviously a front and a back, so just the 2 pieces. It's only overlocked and stitched down for the neck and for the armholes, and then again just hemmed at the bottom. So yeah, I'm really happy with this, and I think if I can get that sizing just right, I will knock out a few more of these, because so we've got summer is finally with us, although I believe a lot of the country has rain as I'm recording this. Touch wood, we don't currently. And I would love to have some new vest tops in some of my lovely funky fabrics. So that was the first thing that I got done this week. And the other thing I wanted to quickly chat about was my sewing class. You know, obviously, that I always used to go on a Tuesday, and then obviously with the pandemic, things changed and there were no classes for a while. And I went back a few weeks back for my first class again, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And it was a in-person class, but they're currently having to run 2 of the weekly classes then are on Zoom. So I don't do the Zoom ones because, as I said, with children around in the background, I cannot spend the time concentrating on my sewing. So I only do the in-house class. And so the second one of those was this Tuesday. And I was really happy because I had a little sewing friend at my table this week. And it was the lovely Angela, who you will all know as Devon Threadtails. She had mentioned when we met up for a little coffee and chat a few weeks back that she'd like to join one of the classes if I thought there was room. And luckily this particular one, I think a couple of people dropped out because they couldn't make the schedule. So the lovely Angela joined us and we were on tables together. So I think you'll be really excited to see what she makes, because she's sewing up a really lovely shirt dress, and I'm sure that will be on one of her vlogs very soon. But it meant I had a lovely time sewing up my Eden jacket, which I was going to do, and chatting with the lovely Angela. So excuse me if there's a bit of rustling because I've got it in a project bag. So yes, I've actually started on my Eden jacket, and hopefully you remember the type of fabric that I've used for the soft shell. But I've got the, excuse me, unfinished seams on the inside, because although it's meant to have a lining, if you recall, I'm going to have to take it out of this bag. I'll stop the video 1 second so I don't make lots of noise. Okay, so if you recall, the lovely soft shell fabric that I am using for my Eden jacket has this green, really lovely fleece inside. So I don't want to line it. I want that to be my lining. And then what I've done so far, which I think looks pretty good, even though it's on the inside, so let's face it, no one's going to see it, but I know it's there, is I have bound those raw seams on the inside with this really gorgeous grey and blue animal print bias binding, and I got this from the lovely Lizzie at Make It 140. And I think that's going to look really lovely. So all the seams on the inside, because there's no lining, I am binding with these. So basically it looks a little bit like a cape at the moment, because it's a raglan. Obviously you sew all the pieces together and then sew the next step I've got to do. I don't know if this is showing up properly, obviously, which I'm going to do in my class, is down the sleeve and all the way down the sides. So I am also using this bias binding on the pocket flap, so that will show on the outside. So you'll have this gorgeous soft shell and then that really eye-catching bias binding around the flap of the pocket. So yeah, I'm really excited to finally be started on my jacket. We've got lovely weather here in Plymouth, so it's not particularly appropriate for the moment, but it's a jacket, so in England it will always get used at some point, and hopefully it's not going to be something that I outgrow either. So that's what I got up to on Tuesday. So I haven't done any sewing since then. Have prepared some lovely plain fabrics for my next project. I want to say that it's going to be the Safiya trousers, because I was talking about doing trousers and Angela also recommended these ones, and I have got the book Make It Simple by Tilly, and I have often thought of doing trousers. I just haven't got around to them. So I have washed up some lovely fabric and I want to do the trousers, and I also want to do a nice loose top, but I'm not sure what pattern yet. So if you want to see little sneak peeks of what I am washing and planning, then make sure you hop on over to my Instagram page, because I often share a lot of things there before I obviously make them up and then they get shown on YouTube. So you'll see more what I'm up to on a more regular basis if you follow me on Instagram. And I hopefully will have another video up very soon. Definitely have one up next Friday, because I'm hoping to get some more of these vest tops, and you'll be able to see how that sizing down and easing the sides worked out for me. So I'll say cheerio for now. I hope you have a lovely weekend, whatever you are doing, and I will catch you all in my next video.